We are live back at it again, right here on UCSS. I got a very special guest with me, Cecil Shorts, a former wide receiver of the Mount Union Purple Raiders, former wide receiver of the Houston Texans, former wide receiver of the Jacksonville Jaguars, host of the co-host of Ultimate 216, and Cecil. Listen, it was kind of crazy there at the end. A lot of people they kind of was in their feelings a little bit. But the Cleveland Browns, they come out, they make a trade up, and they go get Shedeur Sanders after taking Dylan Gabriel, in the third round. Did you expect this to happen? What was your thoughts when you saw the trade up, and your overall thoughts? Give you an opportunity to opine on what happened with Shedeur Sanders.
Well, first of all, G. Bush, it's good to be on here with you, big dog. It's
Yes,
good
sir.
to be
Yes,
on
sir.
here with you. My initial thought when I heard the trade, I'm okay, they're going to get somebody. And then when I found out it was Shedeur, I'm like, wait a second. So my mind went straight to Dylan Gabriel. Like, what are you doing with Dylan Gabriel? Because what they bring to the table, in my opinion, whether you like Dylan more or Shedeur more, they bring the same things. This accuracy. They're both undersized. They get the ball out quick, right? I think Dylan's a little more athletic as far as his 40 time, whatever the case may be. But I'm just like, okay, what are you doing here? Now, on the other side of it, I'm like, compete. Like, if you really that dude, Shedeur, and I'm a huge fan of Shedeur. I said we should have drafted that too. That was just my opinion. I love his film. I love what he brings to the table. To me, the most important thing is from head up, right? His mindset, what he did at Jackson State, what he did at Colorado, he can handle the big stage. He wants to grind. He helped put franchise or programs together. I love that, right? But my thing is now, all right, it don't matter how you get to the league. It's about what you do when you get there. It's about how do you stay there, right? So in my mind, let the best compete. You got Flacco, you got Kenny Pickett, you got Deshaun Watson, you got Dylan Gabriel, and now you got freaking Shedeur Sanders. Like, it's unbelievable. Now, would I say you should draft two quarterbacks? Hell no, I wouldn't say draft two quarterbacks. I think you
Right.
could have went somewhere else in the third round. You're gonna draft Shedeur later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so many different thoughts in my head. But at the end of the day, the best to me, the cream will rise to the top. Like, give them. It's gonna be hard to balance reps, whatever the case may be. But that's on Kevin to figure out. Like, you wanted this guy. Go out there and make their behinds compete. Make them boys go at it and see who comes out on top. Like, I got no problem with competition. I love competition. I think that brings the best out of everyone. Period. And to be honest with you, you haven't found a quarterback since. I don't know.
Nobody. We ain't got one. We can't even do it.
You can't do it. You can't do it. So,
to me, I love it what you said with the competition. A lot of people is, you'll hear people say, well, you didn't like the draft. Now you're flip flopping. You didn't like what Barry was doing. Now you're saying you do because you drafted one player. Well, I said, listen, one player can, if you look at it in the context, can change the way you look at a draft. If you look at it and you want extreme competition, and you draft a guy in Dylan Gabriel who is undersized, but he's been a guy that is been successful at every place he's gone. And then you go later on and you get a guy like Shedeur Sanders, who everyone had somewhere within the first, even if you being kind, somewhere in the first two rounds. Everybody in the league had him there. You get him in the fifth round. Now you can look at positions like, well, wow, I don't mind if I feel like they reached on the linebacker because you got the guys. You can make it up whoever you want to make up. They're here. You can say that linebacker went in the fifth round, Shedeur. But the reality of the situation, if you get Shedeur Sanders, now I'm going to get the hungriest version of him. I'm going to get the guy who's been humble, the guy who we know, everybody knows what you think of him now, Shedeur. And now you're going to get the locked-in version. And like I said, I compared it when I was doing the stream before. I said I like the gladiators. Put the swords in the ring, and whoever comes out of the Coliseum is on the roster. We're going to find out. And that goes for Kenny Pickett. That goes for Joe Flacco. And Deshaun Watson, even when you want to look at that, Deshaun's going to have to come on. He's fighting for some other team to give him a shot to say, hey, I could be a backup guy. I'm look how I'm doing it. I got all these quarterbacks. I could be a mentor. Look how I'm rehabbing. I ain't caused no trouble. Listen, I love it. And what I said before, and you can attest to this, when you have that level of competition, and you know it coming out of where you came out of, what level of focus do you have when you are the underdog going into that camp?
Bruh, it's gonna be. I mean, all 5 quarterbacks are gonna be lasered in that QB room. Oh, it's gonna be sick. Ain't gonna be a lot of talking and playing around. They're gonna be asking questions. They're gonna be dialed in. They're gonna know every single rep matters. They're gonna know every single preseason rep matters. They gonna know everything, bro. Like, it's gonna be so dialed in. But I tell you what, that QB room is so important. It's so important. So if that room is dialed in, it's going to trickle down to the running back room. It's going to trickle down to the O-line room. It's going to trickle down to they ain't drafted receiver, but the receiver room. It's going to trickle down to the defense, right? It's contagious. That competitive atmosphere, that focus is contagious. And if your leaders are doing it, if your quarterback room, the most important room in that building, is doing it, it can be a really good thing for everybody else. So we'll see how it goes. Let me say this, though, G. Bush.
Okay.
And I'm gonna touch on this for Shedeur because you gave me the opportunity and I didn't do it the first time. I'm extremely disappointed. If you don't like him, you don't like him. If you want to come out and say whatever you want to say about him, my thing is you need to put a name with it. You need to say what you coach, why you didn't like it, and go from there. But don't go with an anonymous source and say, oh, he was terrible for whatever the reason. Because in my opinion, a lot of people are holding grudges from his daddy. A lot of people don't like how much money he was making, Shedeur was making in NIL, how they were changing college football, how Colorado went from how Deion Sanders and them went from Jackson State to Colorado and turned that program around and made some name, and they made Colorado popular and win. No, they didn't go to the playoffs. No, they didn't go to the national championship, but they're darn close. And they turned that program around like this. And I haven't watched a Colorado game probably since Cordell Stewart. And then I was tuned in every single week.
Every week?
I was tuned in every single week. Night games, or like every week. But how Deion goes about it, I think they held how, and this, I think Deion maybe talked a little too much in different podcasts and things. I think they held that against him. I do think that. But the issues I have is if you're going to come out and say something, be a man about it. Be a man about it and say it like, hey, this is my issue. Otherwise, why are you hurting this kid? Like, why are you coming out with stuff like this? It makes no sense to me because it's not beneficial to you or him. Matter of fact, you weren't even man enough to even say, hey, I did it. I don't like it. Boom. It's just amazing to me. So, and I'm not saying Shedeur, I wasn't in the meetings, but I do know at combine meetings, there's some crazy questions asked. I do know in team meetings where they fly you in for a visit, there's some crazy questions asked. I do know that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened and he was in defense mode, right? And I'm not saying he did anything wrong or he did anything right, but I do think how this was handled was very interesting, and I'm not a big fan of it. So I'm excited, like you said, to see the best of Shedeur because, like you mentioned, G, that boy gonna be hungry. It's not just him, though. It's not just him.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel sees it because he went third round. He sees it. It's gonna be crazy because the 5th round pick is gonna get more publicity and more action in the media than anybody else that was drafted over Mason Graham, over Dylan Sanders, who I think is going to be really good, over these guys. It's going to be crazy. I mean, Denzel Ward already said, hey, he already tweeted to Shedeur, hey, legendary, let's go get it. Let's go get it. Like the impact he has already. Oof.
And you know what? I give the Browns credit. I was critical of them, but here's the thing: they could have punted on this. They could have said, we drafted Dylan Gabriel. He's here.
True.
Why would we we already have Deshaun Watson, lightning rod. We already are already talking about who's starting between Joe Flacco, who has a almost semi-cult following in Cleveland, by the way, for what he did prior. And now you're going to bring in Shedeur Sanders, who is now going to get, he's going to suck the oxygen out of that room. He's going to be the most popular dude and the most asked about. And you know what the Cleveland Browns could have did? They said, I'm not trying to hear that. We've already said we like what was in the next year's draft. He's fallen. I'm not bringing this kid in because I got to hear the questions. You know what they did? They took a shot. They gave him a chance to compete. I respect him for that.
That's all you got to ask for. Like
So
honestly, at the end of the day, especially as a player, that's all you can ask for. Just give me a shot. Let me prove myself. Let me prove everybody that believes in me right. Let me prove to y'all I can still play. Let me prove to y'all I can be that dude. So I agree with you. Much respect to what they got going on.
So let's go. We gonna get off into this thing, man. We talked about Shedeur Sanders. We'll get back to him, but first, let's get to some of these guys that we had not got a chance to talk about. Let's start off by this. Let's go ahead and throw it up there. The big dog himself goes number one, first round pick, Mason Graham, a defensive tackle out of Michigan. This was there was a lot of hurt feelings earlier this week when you tried to pass on Travis Hunter, but even after, as I came on UCSS, I said, as a former defensive lineman, listen, I ain't a hater. I got to give it up to him. Mason Graham can play the game of football. When you get the emotions out of the situation, you say, listen, I can't hate. The guy is he has tremendous lateral quickness. He's a guy that's going to be able to, uses his hands very well. You tell that he has a wrestling background. He does a good job against the nose tackles or excuse me, guards, and he gets down. He's not just a regular nose tackle. He can play three technique. He can play all over the line of scrimmage. Two gap it if you want to, one gap if you want to. What are your thoughts on Mason Graham in totality what the Browns did here?
Oh, I tell you what, I was one of the guys with my feelings was hurt. I thought you had a generational talent. I thought you would have brought somebody in that could have been LeBron James of the NFL. It's totally different than what you've seen before, right? But they didn't reach for this pick. Like he was projected in every top 5 draft, every mock draft. He was top 5 everywhere. He's a super talent, like you mentioned, and in every draft, every expert said this. There was no reaching here, which I respect from the Browns. I do not think Andrew Berry is the best at drafting. I just don't think that. I think the proof is in the pudding, right?
Right.
But when you trade 2 for 5 and you get that pick from Jacksonville, and then you still get a quality player, a guy that belonged in that slot, I'm like, okay, I like what I'm seeing. And then as you know, G. Bush, it's important to have a group of probably 6 to 8, maybe even 9 D linemen that can come in fresh, that can come in and really get to the offensive line. Offensive line's not switching out. It's going to be those same 5 guys. Whether they're going fast, slow, whatever. So to have fresh guys coming in, have depth, to have some really talented guys getting after the passer or be able to stop the run, I think it's a huge asset. So I do like the pick, even though my feelings was hurt about Travis Hunter.
Listen, these we got the scouting reports. These come from the Bleacher Report. This is what they had to say in their positives and negatives about Mason Graham. Impressive movement skills for his size and quick gets penetration, especially when he is slanting. Takes on blocks with the wide base and has plenty of strength to hold his ground. One-on-one, solid versus double teams and combo blocks too. Can also fight against pressure to avoid getting washed. He has the upper body strength to get extension against offensive linemen and gain control of the block when he lands his hands. Can collapse the pocket as a bull rusher when he keeps his pads down. He does have a little pad problem, but then again, everybody does. My coach never saw a defensive lineman who played too low. Everybody can afford to get a little bit lower. Shows a decent hand swipe move and can catch offensive linemen. Leaning with the swim move also can be effective looper in the games when he has the ability to do that. And he has fluid hips, which is kind of difficult to have for defensive linemen as a pass rusher to clear the lower half and to get clean wins. From the scouting report, from the tape, how does this improve the Browns defensive line, and how do you see him and Mike Hall Jr. working together?
I think it's awesome, but I think you got to think too the additions they added, Malik Collins, and Shelby Harris. The more guys you can get in there, and I look at it from this standpoint: the AFC North, they still want to be physical. They still want to run the football. They still have quarterbacks that are dynamic. So you got to be able up front to be able to stop the run. You got to stop Derrick Henry. That's what you got to do. Like you got to be able to stop Lamar Jackson. You got to be able to put pressure on Joe Burrow. You got to be able to put pressure on these guys. Whoever, Will Howard, I guess, is a quarterback for Pittsburgh, maybe.
Oh goodness.
Whoever,
listen, yeah.
Whoever that guy is, you got to be able to put pressure on him and be able to stop the run. And I think if I just I keep going back to the Eagles in different podcasts I do, the Eagles are so dominant. One of the reasons, because their defensive line is unbelievable. they're able to stop the run. They're able to put pressure on the passer, and then the offensive line is really good as well. But their defensive line up front, that's going to be huge. So to add him and Mike Hall together, Mike Hall got to be healthy. Mike Hall got to put something together on film as far as just get fully healthy. But I think if you can find 6 to 8 guys, maybe even 9 guys that can be some good run stuffers, run stoppers. But I think Mason Graham, if you look at him in Michigan, he was just a disruptor. No matter who he played, he always stood out. Was it Ohio State, it was Oregon, whether it was national championship game, like he stood out. And they had a number of guys on that defense that they had another D tackle go first round, matter of fact. But they had a number of guys on that defense that were pretty good. But this guy stood out big time. So I'm excited to see what he can do in the middle of the field, alongside Myles Garrett and others.
Hey, listen, before we get to the our second round pick, linebacker out of UCLA, so let's get some of your comments really quickly here as well. Let's go ahead and pull these up. Let's see. Let me give a couple one here. Sam says, now trade for a wide receiver because we need one. What do you think about that? Obviously, Cecil, I mean, that's the one thing that we just, I mean, they're allergic to one, or they got some moves behind, or maybe they like the guys we got. I don't know how they like them. What are your thoughts on the wide receivers and what we're doing here? What we're doing?
You got one guy that had 50 catches in a season on your roster. One guy, Jerry Jeudy. He's the only guy that had 50 catches in a season on your roster, and you don't address it in no type of way. You brought in DeAndre Carter, but he's not going to be a down-to-down receiver. He's going to be a punt returner, kick returner. He may be in the slot, maybe. That's a big maybe, right, if he makes the team. But you have to go find another playmaker. And I'm maybe it's Tillman. Maybe I'm overlooking Tillman or David Bell or maybe they like or who Jamari Thrash or whoever else it is, right? But you brought these guys in, you haven't developed them. They have not proven, like, I can't give them Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy came from the outside.
Amari Cooper came from the outside.
Outside. You know what I mean? Like the guys that you drafted and brought in, you have not shown that you can develop them and get them playing on the field. Tillman has shown flashes, but can he stay healthy? Can he be consistent? Can he make plays over and over and over again in the NFL sense? Like, I just don't know. And I think when you look at what they did in the draft, and we'll get there with the running backs, I love that, because a running game is so important, but you have to have somebody to throw to. Like, you can't just have Jeudy alone, right? And Njoku alone. You got to have more guys to throw to. So I don't know the mindset behind that. And then again, I'm gonna go back to this. You took Dylan in the 3rd and Shedeur in the 5th. One of those could have been a receiver.
That's one of those things where it's like, okay, at that point, I think Luther Burton Jr. was available at some of those picks. There was the guy from Utah State. I liked him. I thought he was a solid pick. They're gonna have to either they're going into it saying Jamari Thrash or he always bounces my mind.
Tillman,
either Cedric Tillman. They like and look, he did. Listen, he looked like he wanted to do something, but he missed the last 6-7 games with the concussion. So maybe they'll give some of those guys another opportunity. Well, you kind of foreshadowed it. They did get a tight end, Harold Fannin Jr. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kevin Stefanski may want to go to the 11 and 12 personnel with him and David Njoku, but it's left to be said that yes, we do need receivers, and we are aware of that. Let's get to the second overall pick number 33. Now, this at the time had a little controversy on it. Carson Schwesinger, linebacker out of UCLA, former walk-on, had a great year last year. That year last year propelled him to go in the second round. At this position, we was on the internet going back and forth. And one of the thoughts that I had was, listen, I get it. I mean, if you like the linebacker and you want to say, by the way, I thought I caught I think we caught your boy AB. I think we caught him with a Freudian slip. He was talking about JOK, and he was comparing Carson Schwesinger to JOK. And one of the things that he said was, well, JOK was what he was great at was rushing the passer. JOK was great at doing X, Y, and Z. And he said it twice, and he called us. He said, I'm sorry, JOK is. And when he said that, and let me know in the comment section. If you guys have been watching all the post-game interviews or the post-draft interviews, see if you caught that, because he caught himself. And I think this pick had a lot to do with JOK reporting and just seeing the shape that JOK was in and saying, okay, we got to get a linebacker. Your thoughts on this pick at 33?
Yeah, I never heard of the kid. I had no idea where he came from, and I wasn't even thinking about him. But I 100% agree. This tells me everything I need to know about JOK and where he's at in his recovery. Everything I need to know. So you do not see him dressing for this 2025 season. That's how I view it. Or if he does, it's way like I just don't see that. I wasn't even thinking about a linebacker this early. I thought about it. I knew it was a need, right? Yeah. I'm thinking later. I didn't think this early. But for you to go this early tells me JOK's not healthy, and you need a guy back there. Now, I've read up on him, and I watched a tiny bit of his highlights, and not even the whole game film yet. But he seemed like a short tackler. Seems like everybody loves his mental ability. I think he only had like 4 missed tackles last year, which is awesome. I'm rooting for the kid. Anybody in the Browns uniform, I'll be honest with you. Once they get on that uniform, I put whatever I feel aside, and I'm 100% in. That's just what it is. But it tells me everything about JOK. I do not expect him to be able to play this season. Hopefully he can come back the year after, but a neck injury is nothing to play with.
Yeah, he reported, and there's some people talked about it. They was trying to find little things. What is he wearing? Does he look smaller? Does he look bigger? The one thing that you take with this, I didn't have a linebacker on my radar at this point. Obviously, we're still, we're still in the Travis Hunter stage. We're like, whoa, this just happened. You're still trying to get over that. So you're thinking, okay, quarterback, like Milroe and all these guys are there. And you're like, okay, linebacker. That tells me they have no confidence in what they're doing. They signed Devin Bush back for a Minimowski deal, but they got this guy, and the first thing he said is he can play in pass coverage. They scouting report here, of course, very good athlete who can cover vertically and horizontally in a hurry. Athleticism and speed allows him to tighten windows when playing zone coverage and close. They help take away post routes when playing in Tampa 2. Good change of direction, fluid hips to stay in phase, recover against running backs and tight ends and man coverage. Good eyes in zone coverage to locate threats coming into the area, and can actually read the quarterback's eyes to step in front of passing lanes. I think one of the big things for him, some of his cons are limited in his experience, only played the 1 year, lacks size and strength to hold the ground when it comes to the running game, hasn't shown the ability to use the quickness effectively to get off blocks, and he has tough getting off blocks. But let me just note to self and everybody else, getting off blocks is kind of difficult. I think they play a little bit. Getting off blocks ain't like that's like, and I ain't seen nobody that get an A+ and getting off blocks. It's a process, bro. So for this guy, I think they're gonna use him in a passing game. I think Devin Bush will be a rundown guy. They still got Watson out of the Mississippi State, former SEC Defensive Player of the Year. They'll put him in a rotation. I think this guy they're gonna use on pass downs and to kind of play in space a little bit.
It's gonna be interesting because you don't draft a guy. Honestly, it's like a late first round pick. When you pick first in the second round, it's like a late first round pick. So they're expecting him to come in and be a day one plug and play. You don't draft a guy in the second round, it's not gonna be plug and play, especially this high. So it's gonna be interesting to see his development if he's ready. What he can really bring, how they're going to use him. You mentioned passing game. They got Devin Bush, who's a little more physical, a little more seasoned in the game, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. 1 year of experience. I'm not mad at that. I think that means a lot of life left in his legs, a lot of life left in his, and he can play. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can really adjust to the AFC North and the physicality and getting off blocks and everything else. But they expect him to be a plug and play. I'm sorry. At 33, you got to be able to make a difference on this defense. That's just what it is.
And so here, that's a great point that you brought up. We are here right now. So do you expect day one given the fact that you went number 5, I think you telling Aaron Donald didn't go 5. Warren Sapp didn't go 5. If they got you at 5, you better be, I don't care.
Facts.
You better be, that's a starter. So you
Facts.
telling me the Cleveland Browns should be expecting these 2 guys to be lined up when they call the ones out when camp starts?
Absolutely. Like no question about it. Mason Graham, absolutely. He's your day 1 starter. These guys are plug and play guys. There's no developmental time. There's no, they need some time, maybe week 8, no. You draft these guys early, and you draft them for a reason. You drafted of need. Mason Graham, you need to plug and play right now. When the depth chart's out there, they sit you down in your room. hey, you're gonna be this technique. You're starting. That's what it is. Hey, you're there. The linebacker, hey, first group out. Hey, Carson, you're gonna be out there. That's what it is. Learn on the fly, brother. Learn on the fly. That's what it is. But they're expecting them to make plays from day 1.
So, and here's the thing: as we kind of shape the way we look at this, the only thing you can ask for is what we wanted to come out of this draft. We said we had holes. We said that we had a quarterback, running back. We had some holes, a bunch of different places, right? Only thing you can ask for is if you can come out of the first 2 rounds, and if you believe these 2 guys are starters, then I'll shake your hand. Now we get to one more here. We'll throw this one in before we get back to the chat, and we'll get some of your questions. If you got any questions for Cecil, want a super chat, make sure you put it in the comment section. We will get to that at the end. All questions for Cecil. Let's make sure we get them ready so we can get this thing knocked out. And we just educating on you what the Cleveland Browns have done so far. Quinshon Judkins, right? This was like you see your face. This was the first one where we was like, okay. It's like okay. It's like when you're playing spades and you get one of your little clubs cut. Oh, okay, I see you, Cecil. That's how you're rolling over there.
Okay.
The King of Hearts is getting cut.
That was perfect.
Y'all cutting already?
Okay.
This was okay. All right. This was the first one. We got one of them, Quinshon Judkins, man. Listen, you saw what he did in the college football playoff. Boy, Ohio State, they had something. They had a couple of things. Him and Travion Henderson. Let me ask you this question. Now you see his stats right there: 1,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. It was a long battle. I went back and forth of who I liked better, Judkins or Travion Henderson, week after week. I'll flip flop sometimes 2-3 times. What are your thoughts? Because Travion, I think, went a couple picks later. Your thoughts on this pick in general, and who did you have rated higher coming into this process?
I had Henderson higher, but that's just my style, right? I think he's a better overall back, right? I think you can't go wrong here. But Judkins to me is more powerful. He's more downhill, one cut and go. He's gonna run through you. He can make you miss that spin move. Honestly, if you ever play NCAA, the new one, his spin move was incredible.
Listen, when it first came out, I said, if this kid is half of what he's doing, this student spent around the whole squad. Listen, they had to nerf him. They had to take some skill points away. They said, this is way too. First week came out, I said, if he's anything like this,
it was crazy.
Boy.
But I like Henderson better. I think he's a better pass blocker. Like he's legit when it comes to pass blocking. But you can't go wrong. And I think for this system, well, I'll go back. For this system, I think Judkins is going to be downhill, run hard, run right in your face, get yards, 3 yards in the cloud of dust type of guy, and he's going to break 1 or 2. Like he has that ability. He has that ability to break one and make a guy miss it and take off down the field. Not sure about him in the passing game. I know he can catch. I don't know if him or Henderson is better. I think Henderson may be a little bit better. But again, I was like you. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Like, I like it. This is a big name. He's from right down the street, right down the road, a couple hours there. We all familiar with him. We know him. We know how productive he was. And to be honest, I think he's a very good pick. So I was sitting there like, okay. Now, finally,
we're moving. We here. Like you slowly get out of your feelings a little bit. Yes. Okay, yeah. Listen, all right, listen. Right, 6 foot 219 positive, difficult to bring down. Forces missed tackles with power and elusiveness, burst, acceleration. He can break something. Go watch his highlight tapes. He got long speed. He's a plus level pass catcher. I don't know if that's the best part of his game, but one of the things that I like about him is he's not going to play no games on the goal line. He's not going to make he's going to make your safeties and your linebackers make business decisions. And when it gets to the third and fourth quarter, it's going to be a problem. And if the Cleveland Browns want to get back to what they were when the Cleveland Browns were menaces up front with that offensive line and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, you knew what you was getting into when they came up here with the stretch play and the zone play. So I loved what they did right here. I liked it. I said, okay, this is the first one we're going to get to. And again, you look at this running back room, I ask you, this guy is in contention to be a starter. Right now you got Jerome Ford. Listen, right now, this guy has a chance to be a guy that's going to carry the ball for you a lot in 2025.
Oh, man. Like, I think Jerome Ford had his chance to prove that he's a number one back. Like, you couldn't ask for more of a resume to be able to do it, and he didn't do it. I think he's a good compliment. He can be a good guy to come in and refresh to whoever the starting back is. But right away, and again, this is just my opinion, right? I think higher in the second round is plug and play. This is still high in the second round to me.
Very.
You're expecting him to be a day one, I don't know if it's a starter, but day one playmaker. Like it's gonna be packages for him, whether it's goal line, whether it's short yardage, whether it's 11 personnel, you got him back there, whether it's 12 personnel, 13, whatever the case may be, he's gonna be involved early and often. Will he be the starting guy? Yet to be seen. But he'll have his chance to earn that spot for sure.
Listen, we are moving right along. And let's get to some of your comments and thoughts right here, because I'm gonna tell you what. We got a super chat already. Let me move this back. I gotta move. These banners be all in the way, man. They're all in the way. Earl the Pearl.
Earl.
Look at my man. New AP on Cecil. Hey, stop that. Hey, bro, listen. Hey, listen. You know, dudes is out here thirsty now. Don't you do that? They be looking hey. You know he got it. He got some of them. I know he got a couple checks left over. No, listen, I'm just trying to make it, bro. I'm just trying to make it out here, man. Let's see what we got. Guys is my man. I don't know how you say that. I'm not gonna try. But shout out to you. Q will be starting by October. You know what's so crazy about it? When we get to, I can't wait to get to the next two. They went and got Dylan Sampson too.
That made me excited right there. That made me excited.
I said, "Oh goodness, these dudes is not playing."
That made me excited.
My man T Money for 20 says Judkins and Fannin were definitely hits. This is where they hit their stride at.
Yep.
This is where they started cooking.
Agree.
I think they was like, hold on. Let's get back to, we need guys that's gonna play for you day one.
Yep.
And I think they did a good job. They backed into the quarterback thing later on, and Gabriel and what's the name, and Gabriel and Shedeur won't get most of the headlines. So like, what are you doing right there? But these mid-round picks, I thought that they found legit playmakers that can help you now and can be part of your program moving forward.
And I tell you what, this tells me what Stefanski wants to do. He wants to get in 12 personnel. He wants to put 2 tight ends in because you got Njoku. So now that's your other playmaker. Even though I'm like, hey, why didn't you go get a receiver? Well, hey, you got Judy, you got Judkins now, you got Fannin and Njoku on the field at the same time. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I think Fannin can really come in and make some big time plays for you. That boy can move now.
Yeah,
like he was. Don't get the Bowling Green. You a Mac guy. Don't get the Bowling Green twisted. Like the boy played his best ball against A&M, against Penn State, against the top guys in the country. He averaged 141 yards against top 25 opponents. Like the boy was eating, and you knew he was getting the rock. And you knew he was getting the rock.
They had no receivers. And listen, I watched him in the bowl game, and he was unapologetic. They say, hey, listen, they was throwing in triple coverage. He was like, no, you worry about it. Like, yeah, listen, he wasn't trying to look off the safeties or nothing. He was just like, yeah, first option. You know it.
Hey,
we're going to it. It is what it is, man. Speaking of, let's get right off into it. Let's talk about Fannin Jr. Shout out to Cam McKinley, former Cam McKinley Bulldog, former alum. Mac, I love it all day. What I like about him is he wasn't shying away from the smoke. A lot of times you can run up some numbers, and coming from a guy who played in the MAC, when you get your opportunity to play against the big schools, they recruit you in that. You know, when I came out, they said, we're going to play Florida. We play Florida. We're going to give you Kentucky. We're going to give you Minnesota. You're going to get a chance to get Iowa State. Sometimes the matchups didn't end all too well. We had I played against Minnesota when they had Marion Barber and Lawrence Maroney.
Ooh, and you the D tackle? Ooh.
My coach, the coach came in and said, coach come in and say, yeah, no, we need to work on this, work on that. He just said, we're going to work. We're going to focus on conference play. So first, we didn't watch the tape. We didn't even get to it. They said we just go. That was, listen.
2 dogs.
Marion Barber had like 200 yards, and it was like, okay, well, they brought this other dude in, and I'm like, this guy is not. Lawrence Maroney was not. I said, this is trouble. Yeah. But I'll give Harold Fannin Jr. his flowers because, like you said, he didn't get his money off against Toledo or Akron or Kent. He did. But he did his most damage in prime time on the road in Happy Valley, on the road in College Station. The lights wasn't big. I like a guy who turns up when it's like, oh, this is my time to shine. And he's a guy that's going to be tough to tackle after catch.
Yeah, for sure. Like he's a guy, I think, who's, when I saw him, I saw a game or two during the season, I'm like, oh, he can do something. I didn't realize how productive he was until the bowl game. I'm like, wait a second. This dude been killing crazy, right? And that's what you got to do. At a smaller school, that's what you got to do to get really noticed. You got to go destroy the competition. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Not sure what he looks like in the blocking game yet, but to me, blocking is similar to defense in basketball. It's a choice. Yes. And then once you learn the technique, you'll be fine. Just put your head in there, lock arms, and hold on for dear life. So,
listen, vertical athleticism to threaten the defenses on the seam, strong-handed receiver, good eye coordination when tracking the ball, playmaking ability. He has a lot of great run after catch ability. Potential nightmare due to the position and scheme versatility. I mean, it was all. It makes too much sense. When you want to play with David Njoku, and when you have Harold Fannin Jr., think about this: the Joe Flacco play action game. I need y'all to, and quarterbacks. If anything, y'all gonna learn. Y'all need to get up underneath Joe Flacco and learn that play action. That's going to have a lot of people open. This guy is going to be a monster to tackle in the open field. They do say, obviously, blocking and tight ends. Tight ends is one of the most difficult positions for a guy to get it because you're learning. You got to learn the route tree. You got to learn the audibles. You got to actually stay in and be able to block a defensive end. You got to be able to help on a double team. So you have multiple skill sets, and it's difficult for a young tight end to get in and do it. I think that's what took David Njoku so long to kind of come around and figure it out. You got Fannin. He'll probably be in on your 12 personnel packages. But the good thing about it is you already got a number one tight end. You can just run. You can run and play right to what his skill set is and right to his strengths. It may not be blocking early on, but you may be able to get some mismatches out of it. Love the pick right here. Now you're cooking. You're cooking so far. We lay down in day 2 and we thinking, oh, this about to be great. we about to ball out, and then it happens. They go in the third round. They go with Taylor Gabriel. Now I keep calling him Taylor Gabriel because we used to have Taylor Gabriel for the Cleveland Browns. Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. Now listen. Let me see how to put this. At that point, people were so hot because when you look at the situation, you got Dylan Gabriel, and at that point, nobody had Dylan Gabriel higher than Shedeur Sanders. They shouldn't have been higher than Shedeur Sanders at all. No, nothing. You shouldn't. He was not rated higher than Shedeur Sanders. So what happens is what you start to see is people say, well, hold on. Ain't we looking at the draft board? I mean, you can't have a quarterback left on the board that's like somebody saying is a first-round talent. And Dillon Gabriel, you can get in the 5th, 6th, some would even say 7th round.
Yep.
This where the pushback comes in. Your initial thoughts on Dillon Gabriel and the pick there at 3.
Oh, I was pissed. I text you. I text Earl. I text McNuggets. I was pissed. Like, why are you going out? Because when you look at I'm going to say it again, all the experts, all the mock drafts, he wasn't going to 5th, 6th, or 7th round.
Yeah,
he wasn't rated in the top 10 quarterback. He was in the top 10 quarterbacks. He was 7, 8, 9, 10. He was in that range. And it wasn't because he wasn't productive. He was in college for 6 years. He got tons of stats. I get all that.
Right.
But it's like, if you're going best quarterback available, why didn't you get Shedeur? Why didn't you get, I'll even be happy if you got, I don't know if Milroe was gone at the time.
Milroe was gone.
Milroe was gone. Like, I was
no,
like,
no, hold on. Was Milroe gone? I don't think he was. He might have been, but I know Will Howard was available. I knew
it was a
Kyle
multitude
McCord
of guys.
was there. Yeah,
and I'll be honest with you. I told you there was like 4 guys I would take over Dillon. It was like 4 guys I would take. I wasn't even thinking about Dillon Gabriel. I wasn't even thinking about him. He was an afterthought. Matter of fact, when you talk quarterbacks, you're not talking Dillon Gabriel, and it's not a knock on him. Very productive, awesome at Oregon, awesome at Oklahoma, wherever else he was at. It was just, it made zero sense to me. You went from cooking. I mean, you was hot. You was hot to pissing me off. I'm like, you got the Sheen Tua. Like, you ain't even get like the real one. You know what I mean? It was just frustrating.
And then as we wind this back and as we see it, and then they eventually we'll go forward to go back a little bit. They take Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, right?
Yeah.
And so now, if you wanted to get the best out of Shedeur Sanders, you look around and say, listen, we obviously like Dillon Gabriel better than we liked you.
Yeah.
We drafted him in the 3rd round. We drafted you 2 rounds later. We actually really kind of liked it. We traded a draft pick for Kenny Pickett. We thought Kenny Pickett is a better option for you. We got a 41-year-old quarterback in Joe Flacco in here. So you are actually a long shot. So explain this, how this works, because obviously you know the pecking order when you're in the NFL, and you kind of explain it from both ways. As a guy coming out of college in a long shot, and you see guys that were drafted at your position ahead of you, what do you got to do in order to supplant them? What is the attitude with that? And then also, when you are the underdog, you make it, you beat out that guy, and now you're supposed to be the guy. You're the rotation piece. You getting catches, and they draft another receiver in the 3rd round or so. How does that play, and how does that competition factor in the NFL?
Ask the first question again. I didn't hear it.
So yeah, I need to work on that. I'd be asking way too many questions. It'd be wordy too. I gotta step my game up. So you look at it from a standpoint of when you went into the league and you were a long shot, or you were drafted after somebody, and they got a guy who they took in the 3rd round, and he's getting more money than you. His contract is bigger, and they basically said they like him better. What is your mentality if you're drafted after a guy that's at the same position as you?
I'm hunting him down, because my mentality is they liked him better, like you mentioned. They gave him more money. They respected him more. They expect him in a 3rd round pick, 94? They expect him to be able to play at some point during the season so he can make more mistakes than I can. So in my eyes, it's like, I got to make sure I'm picture perfect every time I run a route, every time I try to get open. I got to know my assignment. I can't have any mental errors. I got to be on top of my assignment. But just know, I'm hunting your butt down, because as soon as you mess up enough, I'm coming that way. Like, I'm coming that way. So that's the mindset there. Now, when you're in that position, when you are when you do, like, say you're Dillon Gabriel and then Shedeur's later, when you're in that position, you're looking behind you. At all times. It's no security, right? There's no security. It's one of the reasons I hate 2 quarterback systems, because it's like, this is the best way I can explain it. You got, matter of fact, my time with the Texans, Brian Hoyer was the starter, and Ryan Mallett was the backup. And as soon as Brian Hoyer made a mistake, he would look to the sideline. He made a good play, he would look to the sideline. Something happened, he would look to the sideline. They snatched him out. First game, he got benched. Ryan Mallett got put in. He make a mistake. He looking to the sideline. It's just no security, right? There's nothing there that secures you. You got to be extremely confident. You got to know what the heck is going on, and you really got to be on your P's and Q's. Now you'll get more opportunity, but I can't say that for Dylan and Shedeur, because I think Shedeur didn't drop because of talent. I think talent-wise, Shedeur might be better. Does that make sense? Yeah. And when you're in that room, especially quarterback, it's going to be interesting to watch, especially quarterback. When you're in that room, you're not going to tell me Shedeur's going to think he's a fifth-round guy. You're not going to tell me Shedeur thinks, he's going to be, Dylan's going to be standing up in a room and talking and leading the way. Now, Shedeur is a leader. Like, he's going to be up talking, communicating, talking to receivers, talking to his O-line, gathering guys up when practice ain't going well, gathering guys up when practice is going well, taking care of his offensive lineman. It's going to be interesting how this goes, because Shedeur's mindset's not a normal fifth-round pick, G. Bush. A normal fifth-round pick, you're sitting back and you're kind of watching. You're sitting back and you're kind of observing, letting the older guys in the room take over. You're taking notes, how to be a professional, how to be a pro. You're kind of just learning, right? You're kind of more subdued. You're just like, all right, let me see. In this situation, you're fighting to be the starting quarterback for an NFL franchise. You should have went. You think you should have went in the first round. You telling me he gonna sit back and let Dylan take over? Oh, hell no. So if I'm Dylan, and I know this, and Dylan probably thinking, I probably went higher than what I was told.
He's like, I'm nice.
What's going on?
I'm here now.
I'm here now, but he knows, like, hey, all the attention gonna be on Shedeur. Like, he's coming. If I make, like, it's just gonna be an interesting dynamic. So in my mind, Dylan's gonna be looking behind him like, okay, let me make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, and Shedeur's gonna try to hunt his butt. Shedeur got something to prove. It's gonna be interesting to watch, but he got something to prove.
It's going to be very interesting. We'll revisit the quarterback room coming up here at the end when we get to the Shedeur Sanders. I'm asking myself, what is this quarterback room going to look like? We're going to get to go inside and get some of the dynamics and stuff. But first, we got to get to some other guys. This is where, they had Dillon Gabriel, and he came up, and we were looking around like, ooh, this could be a rough one. But the Browns do the Browns things. They keep you on the seat of your pants, and then they go, the other Dylan Sampson. This one, really like this pick. Really like. I mean, this. If you guys are not aware, this guy was one of the top backs. I felt like that was coming out. Like, I felt like I watched him a lot. I watched him play for Tennessee 3-4 times. You see here 1,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, SEC Offensive Player of the Year, second team All-American. You look at this guy, and now I'm like, oh, the first thing that happened was, oh, dang, Chubb. Dang, that hit the Nick Chubb hit me. I want to tell them, bring Nick Chubb back. They just really refreshed that backfield. They just was like, we got some young legs in there, and they look like they're trying to do a 1-2 step with this. This is like a thunder and lightning move. They're young. They usually do keep 3 running backs. I've always said I got an open place in my home for Nick Chubb anytime he wanted. But this move right here, I thought this might have been another steal of the draft, because this guy, to me, is one of the backs that could definitely be a starter in this league.
He's a home run threat, G. Like, he's a home run threat. I'm with you. I watched about 4 or 5 games of them this year, and I wouldn't even watch it for him. I was watching for Nico, the quarterback.
Right. I'm like, who's this dude?
I was checking them out. Like, who is he? Like, you know what I mean? All the hype, and he stood out, man. But the thing about him, he not only can run outside, that boy can run between the tackles, and he's a shorter guy. Right? He's a shorter guy, but he can run in between the tackles. Like, I was impressed with this kid. So when he got drafted, I'm like, oh, snap, that's great. And then I'm like, wait a second, you got Judkins? You got Sampson? Jerome Ford gonna be 3? Like, to me, because your third back gotta play special teams.
They gotta play special teams. They're gonna be gunner or something. They always name them some weird name. You and Rangers. Rangers,
you're in Air Force. You're in Air Force. Real talk. Your third back got to be special teams. He got to be the protector on punt. He got to run down on gunner. He got to run down on kickoff. Is that Jerome Ford? Like, is that something that he can do? Is willing to do? Like, I mean, this is to me, this might be the steal with the Browns draft. I thought he would go higher.
I thought he was there was a lot of people. See, this is the thing that would happen when you I feel like when you don't have the level of like skill guys, even with the receiver core, we had T-Mac from Arizona. We had we had Luther Burton. We had obviously Travis Hunter. Last year we had 7 receivers, 6, 7. You used to a high receiver, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks go in the first one. It seems like this class was more, we don't got the top end, but there was a lot of guys, especially this running back class, that got pushed down a little bit. And look, I was kind of hot when they took, when they made the trade, they got the number 1 pick. They had 5. They could have took Ashton Jeanty, right? They could have took Jeanty right there at 5 and kept it. But look, I mean, I think Ashton Jeanty is the best back in the class, but these other dudes ain't no slouches now. They not no suckers. Like they get it done. I really like this dude. Let's take a look at what they got for him. 200 pounds, another guy that generates explosive plays with danger, home run speed, runs with great timing, feet, vision of daylight, quick footwork, elusive jump cuts, pressing the line of scrimmage, a patient runner, follows his lead blockers into the open field. He is a little bit of undersized, consistency with ball security. Now, Kevin Stefanski don't like turnovers. They're gonna all learn that. And short yardage situations, he needs to be more effective there. But that's why you draft Quinshon Judkins.
That's why you got.
You see what I'm saying? So when I'm looking at this, that's when I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, they got a plan. Oh, they got something for these 2 backs. And at this point, I was back on the train a little bit. I was mad this morning. I went to sleep. I was hating.
It was a roller coaster, man.
Roller coaster. I said, I don't care nothing about y'all anyway. I'm watching the Cavs today. I'm just going and do this little draft thing. I don't even care. I ain't doing no graphics. They just gonna get my face. And then they draft Sampson. They bring me back into the fold. I said, okay. My brother's like, I like that move. I said, I like that move too. So here we go. Now you do the recap. If you kind of looking at what it is that the Browns have done, right? They've gotten some guys. They've gotten some linebackers. They've done a bunch of other different things. They pull you back in. They get you together, and this is what it was looking like prior to the announcement of what they were doing. This is what it looked like, right? Like you're like, okay, Harold Fannin, I like it. Dylan Gabriel, you know what I'm saying? They got their picks up there. I like it. The artwork is out, and then they make the decision. Now they make the decision to then go get Shedeur Sanders. Now, look, and do you believe, and I think I haven't heard the interview yet. I think Andrew Berry said it was not in their cards. They didn't think they were going to do that. Do you think what was the catalyst? Because I sit here and think about it. I was making jokes before. I said, listen, this seems like a woman's touch somewhere. I don't know. Did D. Haslam pull up and say, listen, enough is enough? Did somebody get the AB's coattail and say, the slide has gone far enough? Because I don't think that this was in the plans. He got the 5 and somebody pulled the trigger on this. How did this thing come out where Shedeur Sanders is a Cleveland Brown after you see what they did so far?
I think the quarterback coach, what's the quarterback's coach name? Played with Deion.
Tommy Rees?
Not Tommy Rees.
What's his name?
Who's the guy that played with Deion?
Quarterback coach. Is it Musgrave?
Musgrave. Okay. I think Will Musgrave, I think Jimmy Haslam, and I think a few others were pounding the table. Like, hey, it's the 5th round. Pounding the table, Musgrave, yes. Pounding the table for Shedeur. I don't think AB wanted to draft him. I don't think he wanted to. And I don't want to read too much into a reaction, right? But you saw the reaction when they drafted Shedeur, and he was over there straight face. Kevin was like, okay, I got something to work with. Like Kevin, like I got 5 QBs, I can figure out what I want. AB was to the side, like, man.
I was joking. I said, man, they had the president on. When the president made the call, I said, did he call Jimmy? Jimmy, what's going on? This 47.
But I think somebody had to be inside pounding the table like, hey, they're not sold on Dylan. Why not? Why not third round pick? Why not? It's a fifth round pick. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? We got 2 first round picks next year to move up and get whoever is everybody's in fall in love with next year, right? Quarterback
Right.
wise. So I think he was probably the highest guy on everybody's draft board in the 5th round. And that, to me, like, if you look at that grade, like, how would I grade that pick? That's an A, because he was rated 1st or 2nd round, and you got him in the 5th round. That's value. That's quality. I would grade that as an A. And again, we talked about it in the beginning of the show. It's about competition.
Yep.
You really want to hit on this quarterback piece. You talked. I mean, he was floated around in Cleveland. We were talking about it. Y'all were talking about it on UC. It was everywhere. It was everywhere. Is he going number 2? Is he going to the Giants? Is he going here? Is he going to slide down here? Like, nobody thought he would be this far. So I think when you have a guy that's rated in the 1st round, slides that low, and you have a chance to get him, I think you go get him. So I think somebody in there loves him. Whether it's Haslam, whether it's Musgrave, whether it's somebody in there, I think somebody is in there pounding the table saying we want him. And I think AB, somebody put in the KR Thunder. I think I heard that presser. And AB said everything is earned, nothing is given. I think AB was scared of Shedeur. I think he's scared of the center. I think AB can't handle what he can bring. That's what I think this issue was. Everybody can't handle the star quality that he's going to bring.
Yeah.
Everybody can't handle that. I think Stefanski can. I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Hear me out here. Because I'm big on coaches and how they can bring the best out of other people and how they can relate to people, right? The best coaches, to me, number 1, are going to put you in the best position to succeed. But number 2, they're going to have a relationship with you. They're going to understand how to get to you. They're going to understand what you like, what you don't like. They're going to have a relationship where they can come talk to you. They may be able to cuss you out, and then next day y'all good. You may be able to cuss him out, and next day y'all good. But it's about being together, right? It's about a family feel. And it's about being able to handle each other and be able to get to each other and know how to push that button to get the best out of that kid. I don't know if AB wanted to handle all that. I don't know if AB has the mentality. I don't know if he's confident enough as a person, or that's just wanted to deal with everything that comes with Shedeur. I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a show.
That's part. Listen, that is the part. I think AB, if you want to look at it, see, I think AB. I said it the other day. I said, listen, man, when you ask who made the Deshaun Watson deal, everybody says AB is the first. AB was the first dude on. I said, ooh, now. If they picking and choosing, everybody's supposedly safe. But when it come down to people talking about who's here and who's not here, the first person they say is not Kevin Stefanski. It is Andrew Berry.
Yep.
So if you Andrew Berry, they didn't already put. They said, okay, well, you Baker Mayfield keep going to Pro Bowls. I said, that hurts. Baker keep going to Pro Bowls. It's getting rough around here. Then they dry snitched you and you said that you wanted Deshaun Watson. The owner just took the L for us all. All right. Now you got to think about it. Here's your quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. Right then, you got 3 people's names that invoke emotion. And now you put Dylan Gabriel, who some people are going to say, I like him. They know he's a household. Hey, he was up for the Heisman. Yeah, and now you got Shedeur Sanders. That the cameras is there, Cecil. The cameras is there. Like this team, again, think about what they've done. The Cleveland Browns, for what it's been worth since 2018 or 19, since they drafted Baker and Odell came and Jarvis was there. And obviously they got guys like Nick Chubb and whatever. And Myles Garrett, who just had a big thing to do this offseason. They've been at the top of the ticket in terms of most talked about, most eyeballs for almost 5, 6, 7 years. At some point, I think Andrew Berry might be gun shy. Like, listen, I just want to tank my games.
That's it.
I want to tank, and I just want to see if we can do a smooth tank where no one really notices. And I'm just I'll go get Arch Manning. But now this opens them up. It's eyeballs watching now. If you think Kenny Pickett go out there and throw 4 picks, who they gonna call for? Who they calling for? Preseason games. Why? People gonna be at practice to see this dude. Is that something you want from a 5th round pick?
Hard Knocks gonna be calling. ESPN, NFL Network, they're gonna be at every single practice.
Everyone,
Every single practice. This is
all
gonna
of
be
them.
the most media at a practice in Browns history. It's gonna be crazy.
And so when you Andrew Berry, I think the realization hit him as he was sitting there, like, damn it, did it again. Did it. So it's almost like when you tell your kids, don't ask for nothing when you go in the score.
Ooh. Hey, I tell you what too. I don't think Andrew wanted to deal with Daddy.
No.
I don't think he wanted to deal with Daddy.
And let's talk about that a little bit. Do you think Prime, if he had to take it back, do you think he has some missteps, a couple places where he would have taken it a different route, so to speak?
I think I'll put it this way. I think Deion thought his child was better. I think Deion thought his child was viewed how he viewed his child. Like he viewed his child as an elite talent, elite traits, best quarterback in the nation, when the NFL didn't necessarily view the same thing. So he went out there and said what he said, and NFL like, okay, I'm gonna take this note. Oh, you said you're going to pull an Eli Manning? Oh, I'm gonna write that down. New York Giants? I'm gonna write that down. Las Vegas Raiders? I'm gonna write that down. Like he kept out saying, hey, if he doesn't go to the right team, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna show up. And after getting so much attention with Colorado and his personality, and he says at times controversial things that people may not agree with, or he coaches in a way that people may not like, right? I think he went out there and really said some things that he probably would take back. Because if you look at other quarterbacks that went higher than Shedeur, like I can think of other guys that weren't as talented, that weren't as good, that went higher than Shedeur, but their background was quiet, right? Their supporting cast was quiet. There wasn't daddies and uncles and everything else saying things he shouldn't have been saying. So I'm not saying things he shouldn't have been saying, but saying things that can make you feel some type of way. So I do think he would take some things back, but at the end of the day, Deion is going to be Deion. And I'm not mad at him for loving on his son and trying to put his son in the best situation to succeed. I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that at all. But I do think it hurts Shedeur in the long run. I do honestly think that.
Yeah, listen, man. I really think I think this is the best thing for him, and I think it's going to be a very interesting. I would say it's going to be a very interesting way we look at this situation. In general, as we put a bow on this thing, what are your grades? If you guys want to put the grades, we want to get to your grades as well. What grades do you guys give the Cleveland Browns for the overall draft? And then let me know, does this move the needle for you guys in terms of where you think the win-loss record will be? Let's start over with the real ones. Cecil, it was a roller coaster. They got a lot of things done, ups and downs. They got a few positions we're excited about. As this thing come together, where do you put the Cleveland Browns as far as a grade for this draft?
That's a tough one. I look at it's 6 draft picks, right, G?
Yes.
There's 6 of them. And I think you hit on 4. So 4 out of 6 is a big deal, right? I think Mason Graham, even though I'm still hurt about Travis Hunter, I think you hit on him, right? Okay. I think you hit on Judkins. I think you hit on Fannin. I think you hit on Sampson. That's 4 right there. Shedeur's yet to be seen. I would even say 5, maybe 4.5, 5, right?
Right.
Because the value you got him at. You got him for the 5th round pick. So I'll probably give it a B+. My issue is I still want to help with the offensive line. I still want to help with at wide receiver. Yeah. I think those 2 stood out to me. That hey, and I know you got some tackle help in the free agency, but to me, especially wide receiver, I really wanted you to hit on. And then Dillon Gabriel at 3. The decision that Dillon Gabriel at 3, and then the decision with Shedeur at 5 is interesting to me. So I would give it a B.
Listen, I am now. I have to throw in the fact
Okay.
that they did get a first round pick next year.
Oh, that's a good call. I forgot about that.
I almost forgot about that. And somebody
That's
the chat got me together.
That's a good call.
That
you got two ones. You got two ones.
You have two. You now come. I was at a listen. Trust me. I was at an F after. I was at an F. Let you know that right now. I'm Duke a knee jerk. We was effed out. I was coming on here with the smoke today. I said, I had my graphics ready to go and everything. Man, I had all kind of sound effects. They was gonna get it. But they came on here and they listen, I love the Sampson pick. They saved, I think the Shedeur Sanders move saved a lot of picks because I'm willing to sacrifice the third round pick for Dillon Gabriel. And somebody said that. What if Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders beat out Kenny Pickett? I see. You might come out of this draft with the franchise quarterback and the backup quarterback. Who knows? They play musical chairs like quarterbacks. Kevin Stefanski, like you said, was excited. I got everybody. He gonna have them boys in there threatening them boys. Hey, eye placement.
Yep.
Like hear that fake out.
Yep.
Hey, all of it. Hey, you know how it is. You know how it is when one day you rolling with the twos. The twos is right before you. Like you get to the twos and you ain't been getting reps. You like, oh boy, I'm in here. I'm traveling. Man, listen, that next day you come in and they got you reading off the cards. It's a devastating feeling. You like, I done turned from the twos to a camp arm. Twos to a camp arm in 5 hours. How? What did I put on tape? But no, I gotta give them, man, listen, I'll give them a B plus A minus.
Really?
And I'll give them and the reason I'll give them a B plus is the fact that you got a guy from the first round and you got him in the fifth round. And I mean, everybody had him at least worse, round one, round two. You get him. So now you got you got two project quarterbacks. I said, listen, you go in this draft, give me two quarterbacks. I'll draft two of them to figure it out. And you're still set up to a position where neither one of these quarterbacks are top one picks. They ain't costing you no money. And if they don't pan out, you're still in position to go grab a quarterback last year with the 2 ones that you got, right? I can't be mad at that. You restocked your backfield. You got two young running backs that look like they're going to get carries. You got another guy up front that's going to go along with your other guy last year. The Ohio State-Michigan Big Ten combo at defensive tackle, him and Mike All Jr. Myles Garrett came back. He's there. Alex Wright will be back, man. You know, you got a few things, man. You still got some question marks here or there. The linebacker will probably fill in. But in general, I got to go with a B plus A minus, and it ain't about how you start. We all know that. It's about how you finish, and I think the Cleveland Browns went out with a splash. Are we crazy? Are we crazy? Jeffrey got an A. We'll go down through some of these, man. Easy A, outside of Gabriel, all talented, ranked in the top 75. A plus, A, B minus. I'll give it a B. And I think they didn't because they didn't address the wide receiver. Now, trust me, they got one of the worst wide receiver cores in the game. Listen, if they could find, I don't know where they can find some people, but man, Cecil, I don't know, man. Listen, hey, G. Bush F yesterday, today A. The way it goes sometimes, bro.
It's a roller coaster.
The roller coaster. I told you what you signed up for. C minus. Dang.
Oh wow.
He must have not like nobody. I like none of them suckers. Hey, right? Listen, incomplete. If Sanders becomes a top 10 quarterback, all 3 or 4 of these dudes can get cut. You got a top 10 quarterback. If you get one of them, you're ready to go. Let's see, man. We'll get a couple more in here before we roll out, man, and then we'll give Cecil the last words on his thoughts and what he's interested in moving forward with the camp. B minus. Yeah, we got a couple of a B minus, right? B minus, A, B, B plus, B. Okay. All right, so let's get to it before we get up out of here. What is it that you are interested in seeing moving forward, and what are you looking for with the Browns in camp coming up?
I'm just gonna be honest, man. I think it's the obvious. Who's gonna be the starting quarterback? What is that quarterback room gonna entail? How's it gonna move and shake? Like, I think it's so many interesting pieces that can come from there. You gotta think about this too. Like, Shedeur's taking a pay cut.
What you mean?
Dylan Gabriel probably taking a pay cut. Like,
Hey, listen, right? They need to take that jewelry back. They need to take that back. Like, I hope that was a loaner. Them boys, I don't know if y'all know them checks don't be coming like that no more. Like, and the taxes be all different. I don't know if they was under some student finance program, but this, listen, they took some cuts. Bro.
It's gonna be fun. I tell you what, it's gonna be fun because now there's some exciting things happening in that Cleveland Browns organization.
Right.
You got 2 first-round picks for next year. You got a new stadium that's coming. You got your number 1 overall pick this year, Mason Graham. What is he going to do in a situation? You got some exciting guys, 2 running backs coming in, as you mentioned. You got a tight end from BG that blew up the college world. Can he come in and make some things happen? I really am excited to see what's happening next, but the quarterback room stands out most. Like, okay, how's it going to shake up? It's going to be entertaining because Shedeur is going to bring the entertainment, and that's just naturally who he is, right? But you got Dylan Gabriel there. You got some vets and Kenny Pickett. Is Deshaun Watson going to make an appearance? Is he going to be a guy that says, hey, I can be a good tutor to these guys?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm Deshaun, my mindset is if I want to stay in the league, I got to become a mentor. I got to become the best backup I could be. I got to be the best teammate I could be.
He better start burning incense. He better be doing sage.
That's everything.
Talking about the mental health, all that.
Oh, no, real talk. So in my mind, I think it's a lot of excitement moving forward, but the quarterback room, obviously, how is it going to pan out? What's it going to look like? That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. This has been so fun. Shout out to Steve for putting this together. This is actually like my first time working with Cecil, and this dude. Listen, I can see you want to do this full time anytime you want to do it, bro. Listen, Cecil he does work with the Houston Texans. Man, you are tremendous on the microphone. Anytime you want to pop on with me, you good in the barbershop, and we need a round of applause for Cecil. Come on. Round of applause. UCSS is just getting stronger. We got professionals. See, sometimes y'all don't. I told them, like I say, hey, don't listen to little old Mac me. I like to bring the heavy hitters. See, you can tell G. Bush certain things. You can't tell them nothing. They didn't got the checks already. Hey, come on over here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sean King, yeah. You tell him what you told me. It's like going to get your big brother. What you say? Speak up now. But I had a tremendous time, man, and thank you, Earl, for letting me borrow your partner for a day. And we look forward to this season, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hey, likewise, brother. It was a pleasure, man. Big fan of you, G. Bush. Love the barbershop. Love everything you do. So much love. I appreciate you. Just working with you was fun, man. I was looking forward to when I got that email. I'm like, I get to work with G. Bush. Hey, this about to be live.
Yeah. We're gonna have some fun, like, man. We have fun over here. Real. Yeah. We don't have no scripts over here, man.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Hey, and to everybody, man, we appreciate everybody. And like you said, you never know when we might show up, radio, television, internet. But I will say, UCSS had the most content this week. Your host ain't gonna get to it till Monday. Y'all don't be working hard enough. I'll talk to you guys later and have a great weekend. And as always, go Browns.